Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to North Kent Mine's 50th anniversary celebration. My name's Emma, for those of you that don't know me. So, without further ado, can you please give a warm hand to the worshipful, the Mayor of Dartford, Rosanna Currans, who will start the proceedings with a few words. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We all know why we're here. We're celebrating 50 years of North Kent Mind. Mind has got a very special place in my heart. They've helped me along the way, and they've helped a lot of my friends. They do a fantastic job, and if you don't know what they do, when you go out, pick up one of these leaflets, because it explains all the things they get up to. It's what we do, a directory of services. It's well worth a read. The amazing things they manage to do with people who suffer from anxiety, depression, don't know quite where they're going, but they're always there. If you fall by the wayside, they'll pick you up. They're wonderful, wonderful. The people that work there are just fantastic. All of them have got such big hearts, and they all do everything to make sure that people who need their help get it, and get it with the very, very best care. They've been in Dartford now, well, they've been in Kent now for 50 years, from 1967, and they're still going strong, and hopefully they'll still be here in another 50 years. Most of you will know about Mind. A lot of you might have actually used it. I've been to many seminars that they've had, and the information that you get, and you see the work that they actually do, and people who really need their help are able to come up and tell you what Mind has really meant to them. It's something, mental health is something that's been pushed into the background for far too long. I'm glad to see now that Prince Harry and Prince William are bringing it to the fore, because that's what it needs. There are a lot of people who don't even realise they've got problems, and people just make fun of them. This is why Mind has been so helpful to so many people. If you know someone who is suffering, just point them in the direction of Mind. Mind will take them, show them that they can do things, show them that they can get back into the community and work and carry on life in the community. It's very difficult for people to understand. You look at someone and you think, why isn't he at work? Why isn't she at work? Why is she claiming benefit? You do not know what happens to some of these people. It's just something that you can't just rely on, that because they look fine, they are fine. I've got nothing but praise to say for Mind, and I think they are doing an absolutely fantastic job, and long may it continue.
Wonderful. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Right, to start the evening, we're going to have a group of North Kent Service users.
Sometimes
I don't want to wake up in the morning.
I think the world's against me.
I feel stupid.
I feel alone.
I want to go back to work.
I wish I could just go to sleep forever. Sometimes
I can't get out of bed.
I grab handfuls of sweets for comfort.
I enjoy certain people's company very much.
I wish I didn't rely on others to make me happy.
Sometimes.
I want to drive my car so fast I lose control.
I enjoy certain people's company very much.
I think I've got no one to support me.
I hate the way my family treat me.
We had like a lady came from the orchard. We was in like a mind dropping session when Sarah approached us and asked us if we would like to do 50 years anniversary of Mind, which was like the Limelight Project.
I feel that people are staring at me.
I want to be normal and accepted.
I want to die.
Sometimes
I need to just cry. And
I decided to participate in the Limelight Project when you gave me a call one afternoon, and I was feeling particularly low, and it came at such a good time that I was having quite a lot of problems, and I thought, yes, I need something like this at the moment.
I need to be heard and my pain acknowledged.
I just want to be happy.
Right, the Limelight Project, we've had like fun going through it. We started off by doing post-it notes with our feelings. We've had games throughout, like interaction games. We've had like fun on the way. We've had like laughter, we've had tears.
I've got to get out today.
No, you don't. Stay in.
I've got to get things done.
No, you don't. Go back to bed.
I need to sleep.
Yes, go back to sleep. But you've got to get things done. You've got to go out, get your medication, shopping, pay those bills.
I want to self-harm. I need to end this.
Imagine the relief, freedom.
Relief from you?
Yes, you can be free.
What about my family?
They don't care, they just laugh. It's all in your mind.
How can I hide the wounds if I cut just for relief?
Go out to the woods. Go out to the woods and do it.
But I can't go out.
Oh no, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Another day can't be here already.
Can't be.
Oh, sun comes up,
Nothing goes right.
sun goes down, then come the tears,
More tears.
tears to sleep. Then here we are again. But not yet, oh, not yet, please. Wish I wasn't here. Maybe I could hide, but then the questions start. More tears.
More tears.
Having a bad hair day now.
And the black dog is calling.
I'm really in a bad mood. Like everyone else in the world, we all have bad hair days. I must try harder to appreciate the good ones.
It was a big challenge, and when initially we met as a group, myself included, there were quite a few of us that were quite daunted by the idea of doing it. You know, of learning, doing this production, learning the lines, doing the acting. We did some writing ourselves, and then the thought of actually putting that on the stage at some point at a later date was I think terrifying for some of us. And I think over a process of weeks and months, we learnt that it was something that we could do, and just what a marvellous experience to have been able to have done it and to have been on the stage at the Orchard Theatre.
Keep busy, get some good food.
Phone Jack.
Make a cup of coffee, put the radio on.
Have a cup of tea.
Count to 3.
Keep busy.
Go for a walk. Today is a good day.
I like myself today.
Hello.
Breathe.
I can do this.
Take a break.
Go out. Do something.
You can do it.
Keep busy. Get the jobs done.
Today I might open the front door, step outside.
I might.
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 Okay, fella. Have a think. Get yourself together. I think about getting on for the next couple of days. Sort out the madness of the last 2 years. Freshen yourself, freshen your house, and maybe read your Bible. Did the things you've messed up in the last 2 years, who's ever going to forget that? You have to change it. You ain't never going to be able to do that, son. Never. People never forget the thing you've got no money, no food in your belly, no hardly a roof over your head. I know what you should do. You should scrounge some money, sit in the park and drink until you're sick and then fall asleep. Come on, just calm yourself down. Just another day at the bridge. I know what you do. Say the Lord's Prayer. That'll be straightened you out. There, Father. Well, that's a bit better. Straighten me out for a bit anyway. Keep going. Keep going till you sort it all out. Tell you what you should do. Just not worry about a thing anymore. And just make sure everything straightens for you in the future. But the thing is, son, you've got no money. You've got no food in the fridge, and that roof ain't going to put itself there by itself. You need to crack on with them bills. But with what? What are you going to do? With what money are you going to put that roof there? Oh, it never runs out of this stress, does it? I'll just have to. I know what I'll do. I'll ring her.
I particularly enjoyed John's piece because I found that really quite emotional, quite strong. I think it's just how we worked together and we put this piece together and it was ours and it wasn't anyone else's. So.
It's all fine them telling me to take a break from this house, but it's red hot outside. What if I need help on the way to the GP? That young lad in the flats has been getting abusive again. I'm staying here, my fields are green here, help is here. But things have got to change. There's a whole world out there and it's passed you by. You've got to get out today. Go for it, it'll be okay. But that young lad was shouting at his mates yesterday. What if they're there too? They'll laugh at me. I'm staying here, I need to be safe. I'll think about going out tomorrow once they've gone.
I wake up every day and I feel sad and blue. Today is Tuesday, but it's like any other day.
9 a.m.
Do I visit the gym?
10 a.m.
Do I stay in and watch a film?
11 a.m.
Do I go to the coast? Will that cheer me up?
12 p.m.
Today could be a lovely day.
1 p.m.
An absolutely lovely day.
2 p.m.
I still feel blue.
3 p.m.
I could walk past bluebells and lavender.
4 p.m.
I'm still blue.
5 p.m.
The day is nearly over now. I'll try again tomorrow.
I come across as being quite a confident person, but I struggle on a daily basis, you know, and I think it's what it's done is it's allowed us to show ourselves that we can do this thing. There's people that don't suffer with anxiety and depression that wouldn't be able to go on stage and put a production on. So it's a massive thing for us. So it's just showing that what we are actually capable of doing. And yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just good to put on a facade and a front and act and have incredible fun and just laugh, which is what we do when we go to the drama group.
Get to work and carry on.
All mentally ill people want to commit suicide.
Daft.
Mental health suffering, self-induced.
Weirdo.
The mentally ill are violent.
Loony.
You can spot the mentally ill a mile off.
Loopy.
Mentally ill should pull themselves together.
Freak.
Mental illness is an excuse to slack off work.
Nut.
People with mental health problems are dangerous.
Mental health sufferers enjoy being miserable.
Crackers.
Mental health is not real.
Cuckoo.
Intelligent people don't have mental illness.
Cuckoo.
People with mental
got
health.
up in front of an audience of 250 people, and it was awesome in the end. We've had flowers, we've had cards, we've had letters, we've had people hugging us in the street that we don't even know, wishing us well done.
People with mental health problems hide to work.
Actually, we all probably work with somebody experiencing a mental health issue.
People with mental health illnesses are usually violent and unpredictable.
Actually, people with mental health issues are quite often the victim of discrimination and abuse.
People with mental health issues don't suffer with discrimination.
9 out of 10 people with mental health issues suffer discrimination and stigma.
I'm feeling glad I got sunshine.
From participating in the Limelight Project, I've discovered something that I didn't know I had, a love for being on the stage. Absolutely loved it.
Sunshine in a bag, I'm useless, but not for long. The future is coming on, is coming on, is coming on, is coming on.
As soon as we walked into the dressing rooms, that's when the magic started, with all the flowers and the way it was made us all feel so special. And I just felt like a little girl, really, in fairyland.
It's raining again. I'm hearing it beat up and it's wet in the street, reflecting the lights and special feet. Nowhere to go, and nothing I have to do.
The sun is out. Feeling tense with the kids, laughing on the outside, crying within. No sunshine in the winter, nor in the summer, not in my world. Pity I can't go out for a walk today. Maybe. No, I can't go out for a walk today. But a bright sunny day always cheers me up, lifts my mood, it makes me feel better. Kids, come on, let's pack a picnic and go out. I can go out today.
And I think that I can put my acting skills and skills that I'm hoping to learn into my everyday life of dealing with people, which is something that I find hard to do, dealing with people.
It's cloudy outside. Dark fog fills my mind.
Happiness, can I enter?
Not today.
I can't escape.
Nothing seems right.
One day the clouds may pass away.
The clouds will blow away to reveal a bright and sunny day.
Come in, your counsellor knows you're waiting.
Nice to see you today. How are you today?
I have time now.
Come to the group. Everyone's welcome.
Would you like to?
Take.
But we've just sort of grown and really become just a really lovely, close-knit group who really supported each other. There were times where some of us, had bad days, or some of us were struggling with things, but we all sort of pulled in and helped each other. So it was really, really fantastic.
Come to the group. Everyone's welcome.
Would you like to?
Take your time. You can.
You can. You can.
You can.
You can.
You can.
You can.
You can.
Someone you know has a mental health problem right now. You don't have to be an expert to talk and listen, and often it's the little things that make a difference.
I just want to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
I want to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
I just want to be happy.
Someone you know has a mental health problem right now. You don't have to be an expert to talk and listen, and often it's the little things that make a difference.
It was a big challenge, and when initially we met as a group, myself included, there were quite a few of us that were quite daunted by the idea of doing it. You know, of learning, doing this production, learning the lines, doing the acting. We did some writing ourselves, and then the thought of actually putting that on the stage at some point at a later date was I think terrifying for some of us.
The 13th of June, 7:30, the curtains rolled up, and I'm thinking, oh no, here we go.
Hello, nighttime, it's me again. I have so many thoughts running through my head, I do wish my brain would slow down. I'm waiting for that voice to go quiet in my head. It's never going to happen. Please tell me I'll be okay and that I just don't have to suffer in silence anymore. I lay awake for hours on end, whilst my husband sleeps peacefully. Lucky thing, how does he do it? Tossing and turning and not getting comfortable. My body aches from all the pain. Have a drink of water and take your tablets, I hear my voice. Trying to reason with myself, why am I like this? Why do I have dark thoughts? How stupid am I? Yet the voice raises in my head shouting at me. I shout back, yet no one hears me. The arguments I have in my head, calling myself all the names under the sun, and that can be a few. I realise this is a cry for help, yet again, in my world it's silent. Pen and paper at the ready, it's time to write to myself yet again. The letter is long, yet it makes me see how vulnerable I can be to the outside world. Time to get up this morning already, put on that special mask and say everything's okay. Yet behind the mask, I can be the loneliest person in this world. I'm grateful to the groups that I attend, as I know that I'm not alone. Being listened to and not judged is almost a safe haven for me and everyone else. I feel good about myself for once. I am who I am. It's fine to say I suffer from mental health. I must just remember to ask for help more often.
My short poem is called Solace. Peace at last, the years of confusion over. Tears of joy mixed with tears of sadness. My head is like an explosion, jumping jacks and fireworks, jumping and laughing with joy. Long lazy days, picnics on the beach, but my heart is mourning. reality now dawning. The wrong done to me that made my mind broken. Atonement not forthcoming, not even a token.
But now that I am better, I can live my life well. On sad, bad memories, I will not dwell.
What I learned mostly was the comradeship that I felt with all the other cast members. It was lovely, and that was the main thing that I came away with.
Better late than never. I called this one mine, but I didn't think it would react considering the content of the poem, so I changed it to my thoughts. They tell me I'm mad, but my name is the same as it's always been. The strength of finding numbers under the same tired brush. We laugh, we joke, almost laughing at those who tell us we are insane. I know this brush feels like a mark for life, but one day we'll all realise that mental health has been cured. Second one, what love is to me. Love is patient, love is kind. Love keeps no rights or wrongs. Love endures, love should not be jealous. Love is when imperfections is just another part of them. Love will endure forever through the good times and the bad. Love is infectious and soars above all other kinds of feeling. We spend our lives finding it and never letting go. That's what love is to me.
So first question, guys, how did you enjoy the performance? We'll start with you.
Very nervous, but once it started, I was just amazed by everybody.
You were really good, Claire, really good. Karen?
Yeah, it sort of flowed a lot better than any of us hoped. We were quite nervous, we'd done some practices and it just went really well. So.
Better than I could have done. I thought you were fantastic. And Colin, how did you find it?
I was bricking it, to be honest.
Oh, bless you. You were good. You were good.
I was trying to burn the mic. It was like,
yeah, that might have been a bit wrong, mightn't it?
It went well. We don't now, so.
You should be proud of yourselves. You're really, really good.
I still want to burn though.
All right then. Moving on to the next question. So, Claire, what was your favourite bit? Would you say?
I think the most powerful part was John on his own, because he just encapsulated what most of us go through every single day, not just once, not just twice, but multiple times a day.
Oh, excellent. Karen, what was your favourite bit? And don't say finishing.
No, I think it was the myths bit. Where people have certain beliefs of what mental illness is about. Trying to put people straight on it.
Excellent. Colin?
It's definitely John's piece. That was really powerful. That's every time we hear that, it gets better at the time. And also the myths again here, it's like what people think of us, but it's not that at all. It's putting straight, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, my favourite part was Karen, the walking down the stairs. Was that your idea, Karen? Oh, was it? Very good. It was excellent. I enjoyed that. Yeah, it was really good. So, moving on to the next question. Claire, how many drama groups have you done now?
Too many. A few. And I love them. They give me a lot of confidence that I wouldn't normally have. But I am just glad I wore my incontinence pants tonight.
I'm glad you did as well. Excellent. And Karen, I can't stop laughing at Karen, and your favourite bit as well. Sort of, how many groups have you been to, and what have you got out of them?
I think this has been my fourth.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've done 4.
Yeah.
But this is the first production we've done. It's been mainly improvisation, games, and different, writing and things like that. Makes a massive difference to me. Anchors my week. And we just laugh, don't we? It builds our confidence and it gives us an hour and a half of fun.
Just be who we are. And we don't get judged.
Excellent. I think I might join as well. Colin, how many have you done? Come on.
I've done 5. I was here when it started. So.
Wow. Also, are you the longest standing member?
Yeah.
Oh, the honorary member.
Yeah. Building confidence again. I started giving confidence back. Definitely. But the most I get is the friendship we've all got, the bond we got is unbelievable.
And that's important, forming those sort of friendships with other people, isn't it?
It's a family. So they're family.
Oh, it's excellent. So you did all look as though you were enjoying yourselves up there. Did you, Claire? Did you really enjoy yourself?
Looks can be very deceiving.
Yeah, they can be. We can mask a lot of things
but this
with
is
looks.
a mask. And
yeah.
we all have to wear masks and try to be brave. When we're not. Inside we're broken.
Yeah.
But we want to try just to show people that although we're broken, there's still things we can do. And given a voice and an opportunity, we can just let people show and know that even though you've got this wrong, you're that wrong, don't carry that label all the time. Because it is part of you, you've got to live with it. But just not people to just judge you, you're the mentalist, you know, and be frightened of you, and it's just a message, you know, it's a great message to get across.
And it's great to sort of bring awareness to other people. It's
who we are. It's like most of my family don't know that I've got a mental health problem. So when I come here, I can be me. I haven't got to put a face on it. So yeah, it helps.
Right, now the important question. Okay, so I'll start with you again, Claire. How about North Kent Mind? Are they important in your day-to-day life? Have they helped you and assisted?
It saved me, and without Mind, I don't know where I'd be.
Thanks, that's great. Karen?
Yeah, I've used them for various different things. I've done courses, CBT courses, mindfulness, just courses on coping with anxiety and depression. But the biggest thing has been the drama. Just sort of help feel lots of sort of things and it sounds mad that you go to a group and you do stuff, but as you say, we've made friends, we've learned how to push ourselves. We always have a check-in and a check-out. So, quite often when some of us check in, we're not having a particularly good day or a particularly good week. But we always end up smiling, don't we, at the end of it? Yeah.
And the big question at the end, Claire, would you do this all again?
If I thought it was going to save somebody, yeah, I'd definitely do it again.
Oh, excellent. Karen?
Yeah, definitely, I'll do it again.
Colin?
I think I prefer just to write and be stay in the week.
Well, you'd rather be the creative person.
If push comes to shove, I'll get on it again. Yeah. As long as we're these lot, I'll be right. Yeah.
Well, I was impressed. I thought the whole group was absolutely fantastic. You've done yourself proud. And I think the audience would agree with me. If you can give them all a big round of applause today. As you know, we're here today to celebrate 50 years of North Kent Mind's anniversary. And one man who knows all about our history to the point where we are today as North Kent Mind is our wonderful CEO, Mr. Justin Bateman. So, please put your hands together for Justin.
We're going to take you through 50 years of this charity, which it might not be a sweet charity, but it's certainly to be savoured. See what I did there? And I have to confess, this isn't the first time I've performed in this theatre. During a period of my life when I was self-employed, or unemployed as my wife at the time thought it was, I needed to take on any pieces of work to bring in money. And so I found myself for a week playing in that orchestra bit to the musical... what musical was it now? I haven't put it down. It was Me and My Gal. And in newspaper report afterwards was a little snippet talking about some inspired banjo playing. And I'm afraid I'm not going to give you any inspired banjo playing tonight, but I hope to talk about an organisation that I think is inspiring. I'm not here to entertain you by singing Leaning on a Lamppost at the corner of the street, and I'm not going to be doing the Lambeth Walk. That was the audience participation. So, instead of the Lambeth Walk, let me take you on a walk through the last 50 years, because that's how old this organisation is. This organisation was created before social services even existed. This organisation is older than our key partner's Porchlight. And this organisation dates from a time before Britain had colour television. Now, this is the time when my grandchildren used to think the whole world must have been in black and white. But I came across a family recently who confessed to me that on the night that colour television was introduced, they sat staring at their black and white screen and were convincing each other they were beginning to see colour. So if you squint your eyes and look sideways, you can just make out some green tinge to that lady's dress. So people struggled with new technology even then. So this organisation is that old. This organisation is older than decimal coinage. And that some of you youngsters in the audience won't even know what decimal coinage was. Well, I'll tell you, it was very easy. Instead of 100 pennies to the pound, we had 240. Right? 12 of them would make a shilling, and you had 20 shillings in the pound. If you had half a shilling, we called it a tanner. If you had 2 shillings, we called it a florin. Yeah? 2.5 shillings was 2 and 6. There was 8 of those to the pound, and we called that half a crown. But we never in fact had a crown. And if you had a penny, you could split it into 4 bits, a halfpenny and a farthing. Simple. Unless you were shopping in a posh shop and they were selling everything in guineas, which meant you thought you spent 20 quid and you'd in fact spent £20 plus 20 shillings. You spent £21. This organisation is very old. This organisation is older than the Big Mac. There'll be a lot of fact-checking going on tonight, won't there? And perhaps most shockingly of all, this organisation is even older than status quo. So let me take you back to 1967, and on 30th of January that year, the inaugural meeting of the Dartford branch of the National Association of Mental Health was formed. In the minutes for that meeting 50 years ago, I noticed a sentence that might have some resonance with Cathy Noble and her team who've worked so hard to put this evening tonight. The minutes read, 129 letters of invitation had been sent out, 50 people had replied, 16 were unable to come, and 75 hadn't even replied. It was ever thus, Cathy. The beginnings of this organisation had been very much due to the tireless efforts of one Dorothy Fox. She was an intriguing lady. I had the privilege to meet her in her later years, much later on. Dorothy could talk for England, but she kind of had this strange plummy accent, so you weren't quite sure what that talk was. Dorothy and her husband lived in the old vicarage in Mepham, along with another family, the Skeffingtons. Now, I have this kind of mental picture of the old vicarage Mepham being the hotbed of activity, because Arthur Skeffington was a Labour MP for 20 years, quite a famous man, and his wife was also very helpful to Dorothy in setting up this organisation. But he also founded another voluntary organisation, which is also still here to this day, and that is, you guessed it, the Mepham and District Footpath Group. They've got 5 years on us. But all that was being created from this one place in the old vicarage, Mepham. So if you're ever researching the history of the Labour Party, And you read that Arthur Skeffington shared his house in Mepham with the foxes. It doesn't mean those little furry bitey things. It was our Dorothy. So, what was the landscape of mental health provision at the time this organisation was created? Very, very, very different to what it was now. You could rightly describe it as a desert, a wasteland. In the community there was effectively nothing, and everything was in the hospitals. That's Stonehouse Hospital. Dartford. Dartford is actually a unique town because with the fresh air, ample supply of water, it was the town in England that had the most hospitals to it. When a survey was done in the early 1900s, of the citizens, the total population of Dartford, a third were living in the hospitals around it. This was the Victorian impetus to build asylums, or psychiatric hospitals, as they later became. Here's another one. Dartford Park, that is now on the site of Dartford Valley Hospital, but that held thousands of people that we will now describe as learning disabled. Now that original Victorian impetus had a very caring and a rational sense to it. It was, let's put these people in a nice comfy place out in the country where they can live and maybe work. Oh, we can put facilities for leisure in there. We'll build them a theatre. We'll build them a chapel. And they can live there comfortably without the need for contact with the outside world or any pressures. And we might think that's quaint now as we look back, but many years later, when I was talking to service users about what they wanted in the community to support them, one of them said, I think if we had a nice big house out in the country, we could live there, we could sleep there, maybe we could do some work in the fields, and we could have our entertainment there. We wouldn't need to get in contact with the world again, so you can't please anybody, everybody. But by the 1960s, the model of institutional hospitals was being severely questioned on a number of fronts. The work of Irving Goffman, which looked at asylums and how destructive they were to people's individuality, he was saying that if somebody lives, works and plays, has entertainment in the same confines, that's an institution, and it saps your individuality, it disempowers you, you get being used to other people doing things for you. And when I was writing this, I thought, work, rest and play, that rings a bell. Why did nobody at the time call it the Mars bar effect? That would have been great. Until I came across the wonderful poet John Cooper Clarke, who has a little saying which is, I eat a third of the Mars bar a day because I like to rest. So, back to asylums in the 60s. Everything was still focused in the psychiatric hospital. There was nothing out in the community. The anti-psychiatry movement was beginning to challenge the psychiatrists to say, perhaps there's another way of helping people with mental health issues. And the Mental Health Act of 1959, only 8 years previously, had actually started to encourage the idea that people could go into psychiatric hospitals voluntarily. There didn't need to be sectioned in there. Perhaps somebody could realise they needed that help, they could go in and then come out again. But it was difficult for people to come out. And here we have the founders of North Kent Mind, pioneers, at the front of that movement, rightly saying that to help the people move out of hospital, they would need to create proper housing and a social life, and that we needed to raise awareness of mental health issues in the public. And that's just what they did. They worked and created proper supported houses in the community. And when I say proper supported houses, I mean proper provision. Better than some of the other schemes that were going on at the time. There was one scheme, I will refer to it as the Margate Affair, where some planner had said, well, we need to get people out of one-stay hospital into accommodation, and because people were starting to go to Spain for their holidays, there was going to be a lot of bed and breakfasts and a lot of boarding houses in Margate and Ramsgate without much custom. So why don't we put these people with mental health issues out into Margate and Ramsgate? One of the problems was that these boarding houses were still operating on the old rules, which said residents had to be out between the hours of 10 and 4. So the beaches and the promenades of Ramsgate and Margate were full of people who had just been moved out of hospital, wandering around aimlessly with no support. North Kent Mind, Dartford District Mental Health Association as it was then, had nothing like that. It believed in providing proper houses in association with housing associations, and that those individual residents should be properly supported. Our founders also created social clubs, which we've now recognised as peer support, so not so much of a buzzword, eh? And they organised public meetings on a variety of mental issues, health issues. And I think that's what I want to, the theme of what I'm talking about this evening, that this organisation should rightly take pride in being at the front of the mental health scene throughout its existence. In those first 17 years, the whole organisation was volunteers. The members of the board, the members of the subcommittee, these were the people actually doing all the work. In a landscape when there was no other mental health provision in the community, they had to raise their own funds to pay for this. A temporary nearly new shop in Lowfield Street, a coffee morning, a dinner dance, a collection team. In 1972, the National Association of Mental Health, having survived a full frontal attack from the Scientologists, changed its name to Mind, written in capital letters. You did hear me right. I said a full frontal attack from the sociologists. This is a bit of charity history that perhaps isn't recognised. Scientologists were they were at a growth period in Britain at the time, and they were very anti-psychiatry and anti-psychology. So they started to infiltrate the National Association for Mental Health by becoming members of it. And when they had something like 200 members, other people in the association began to notice this. And they actually managed to get all those people, had their membership revoked, and the matter actually went to the High Court, who in 1971 came down on the side of the National Association to say, yes, you were right to expel these people. It intrigues me that the word mind, when it was first used in 72, was always written in capitals. And this survived up to the mid-90s when it changed and people said it would be written like an ordinary word. I actually like the capitals. I was working in Kent County Council at the time, and it really used to infuriate a boss of mine because every paper he read, all that was staring out at him was this word, mind, mind, mind. But I think it was a really good publicity ploy. By 1984, another formidable woman had taken over the reins of the organisation, and this was Dorothy Laker, the retired head of Dartford Grammar School for Girls. And Dartford and Gratian Mind, as it had then become, employed its first staff, a development officer. How it would have worked was this. Dorothy and Olive would have approached social services and said, we've got this good idea for a development officer. We wonder if you'd like to fund us for that. And social service would have said, oh, that's a good idea, we could do that, but don't you need money for an office as well, equipment? And they would have said, oh, yes, please. And social services said, well, there you are, go away and do it. Anna Hansen, the current head of strategic commissioning in Kent County Council, is in the audience tonight, and I'd like to say those were the good old days, weren't they? None of this tendering and we'll choose on quality and price. We used to call it pump priming. The concept was, if there's a good voluntary organisation around, if you pump some money into it, then it will achieve funding from other sources. So your little money you've gone to co-fund it will go a long way. But those days are long over. The new development officer, a certain Sandy Lowen, Yes, you can see from your programme that she is our current chair. So she started her new job. She showed me her diary for the day, and it reads, "Woke up late." A rare slip that I'm sure she's never repeated throughout her whole working life ever since. And her induction also gives us insight that still in '84, the hospitals, the medical side was the dominant force in mental health. Her first visit, her first arranged visit, was to Stonehouse Hospital. She recalls hearing a presentation from a psychiatrist who was asked, "What does it mean when a patient has insight?" And the psychiatrist replied, "A patient has insight when they agree with the doctor." About the same time, I was a mental health social worker student in Gillingham, and I was told it didn't matter too much what my hair looked like and what clothes I wear, but if I was ever talking to a psychiatrist, I had to wear a tie. To which, of course, I said, "What, even on the phone?" But that was the mood, that was the atmosphere at the time. With Sandy at the helm, Dartford and Gratian Mind really started to grow. One of the first pieces of work was to locate some research by people called Goldberg and Huxley. Oh, we go on there, yeah? And what this pyramid was actually saying was this. Look, you've got a great big population there, all those blue people. These are your population of people who have mental health issues. Those in the lower tier, they never even bother going to the doctor. That's number one. Number two, these are people who actually do go to the doctor. Number three, these are the people who the doctor will recognise have a mental health issue. And number four, always smaller populations here. Number four, these are people that the doctor might refer to specialist services. And number five, these are people that might be admitted to hospital. So for the first time, you're actually saying the work of mental health is not just for that small little triangle at the top, but should be for that whole population in need. And this, to my mind, was a radical insight. And working in Kent County Council, this research from Goldberg and Huxley, suddenly every paper I was reading mentioned Goldberg and Huxley, and it was quite clearly the concept had started from this local mind. So to me, that's a really good example of North Kent Mind being ahead of the game. You heard it here first. And look what we did with housing. Now, the old form of housing for people with mental health issues had been to get a detached house somewhere, 4 beds, maybe 5 beds, and put a lot of them in as a group. Maybe in some of the worst models, we can fit 2 beds in that room. So people were living on top of each other. If anybody's ever been a student living in a student household, you'll know what it's like about who left their dirty knickers on the kitchen floor, who's pinched my milk, who's half-inched my cornflakes, etc. Who didn't do the washing up last night. It's okay to live like that for a year as a student, but to be expected to live like that permanently is tricky, and it's not responding to your own individualism. So it was this organisation that said they were no longer going to do that, and every piece of housing they were involved with had to be individual flats. They could be individual flats in a cluster, perhaps with a communal room, but individual flats with their own kitchen, toilet, etc., etc. So this was the model that this organisation adopted in the early 90s and has continued ever since. And I notice Kent County Council this year is now saying we are no longer interested in funding shared housing. Well, we agree with you, Emma, but it took you time to get there. Another thing the organisation was doing in the 1990s was running a Skills for Living course, a way of helping people in groups learn the skills to cope and pull back pull through their mental health issues and take control of their lives. And then at the turn of this century, the early years of the 21st century, people began to talk about the recovery model. And this was, they were trying to say this was new thinking. You know, you can work with people with mental health issues to help them recover their lives. You can help them get better and move through these issues. And North Kent Mind could quite rightly have turned around and said, yes, but what have the rest of you been doing for the last 20 years then? Because that's been a theme throughout all our work. By the mid-90s, the plans to close the old Stonehouse Hospital were well established. At the same time, there were plans to build, on the site I showed you previously, to create Dartford Valley Hospital. And this organisation said, shouldn't the psychiatric unit be part of the general hospital? We ran a big campaign on it called, try again, Back to the Stone Age. Nice little pun there. Stone Age, Stonehouse Hospital. And this was a campaign to say, let's put our mental health hospital facilities into the same area as a general hospital. Why do we have to discriminate? Why do we have to separate? Shouldn't it be part of the same thing? Now, we weren't listened to them. And they went ahead and built Dartford Valley Hospital as a general hospital and Littlebrook as a psychiatric hospital. And what are we hearing now? Parity of esteem. We're being told that there should be a national movement to make mental health issues just as esteemed and dealt with parity, with equality, with physical health issues. Well, we were there. We were saying that, but we were just a voice crying in the wilderness. In the early 2000s, if we call them that, this organisation began developing more conventionally therapeutic services where there was a clear need. We started a low-cost counselling service in 2004, bringing affordable counselling within the reach of the local population that otherwise couldn't access it. In 2008, the whole national mental health scene was transformed, in my view, by the introduction of IACT. This means improving access to psychological therapies. Wherever you go in England, it doesn't function in Scotland, it's not in Wales yet, you can access psychological therapies for free, paid for by the NHS, for issues like OCD, depression, panic attacks, anxiety. And I think that is a marvellous thing to have happened, that people can now access psychological therapies for free. One of the things that happened when this service was introduced is that our OCD group, the referrals started to dry up. We'd been running an OCD group for several years, and it was a rare thing. There was nobody else running any therapy for obsessive compulsive disorder. I know that because a lady rang up from Devon, and she said, "You're the nearest group to me. Do you think it might be possible for me to come up to the group once a week and stay over in a bed and breakfast?" She was that desperate for a service. When IACT came in, referrals to our OCD group started to dwindle, and so we closed it. And that was good, because it meant we had been pioneering something that was now taken on by the mainstream. So, after 4 years of this service happening locally, we weren't running it at the time, there became massive waiting lists. So somebody would go along to the GP and be told that the Mental Health Trust could give them psychological therapies, but there'd be a 9-month wait. So the local GP said, "We'd like there to be more organisations delivering this service, so patients, clients, have more chance of getting seen sooner." So we applied to be one of those organisations. It was 80,000 words I had to write as an application. My fingers are still hurting. we thought, one of the questions was, how many clients could you see a year? And we thought, 700 top work? Yeah, 700, that's about right. We're now dealing with 3,500 a year. Our service just rocketed because people liked what we gave them. It rocketed so much that the local service that the NHS Trust was running stopped delivering and said, we're backing out of this, we can't make it financially viable. They were wanting people to come in with arts and thinking, how can we use the arts to support people with mental health organisations? Leading up to this process, they had a big Microsoft chart. I can't think of the word. Not Access, the other one. Thank you for that one. They had this big chart which showed all the organisations what they were prepared to do, and so that the strategic partners who would be eventually running the service could pick and choose. And they called this the Matrix. So I sat in a group with a lovely young woman who's like a one-woman art show in Maidstone, I think it was. She does pottery, she does some physical art, very, very great stuff. And when they heard about all the artwork she did, they said, well, would you like to be in the Matrix? And she said, we don't do films. We are, of course, so glad that the organisation that became the strategic partner for those services, Porchlight, picked us to be one of their delivery partners, and we continue to grow and expand our services with them. We've expanded into Medway, not because we wanted to get bigger, but because there was an absence of any solid mental health voluntary organisation in Medway. And people in Medway have not benefited as they might have done in Dartford and Gravesend. Our employment services are now taking off, and we've had to create a whole new employment services branch, which Emma, who's been comparing tonight, is in charge of. And we have started a shop, which you're going to see a film about after I've finished, which is very soon, called Made in Kent. But our issue now is dealing with that growth that we've experienced. And as an expanding organisation, we've got need for bigger premises, and so I've been constantly on the lookout for big business premises, for new premises. Is that building suitable? Is that? And I'm driving along in my car one day, and I see the absolute peach of a building. I think, yes, and it says for lease. I think, yes, that will do us. That's the kind of building we need. Just parking my car to write down the name of the estate agent when I realised, you're in Gloucester, you're not in Dartford. It become that much imbued in my head. So that's a brief walk through our 50 years. We are growing, but not as much as the writer of this letter presumed. No, sorry, next one. It says, the North Kent Mind, the atmosphere, 20 West Hill, Dartford. So I'm saying we are growing, but we're not that big yet. The actual address is the Almshouses. So I haven't been able to give you any inspirational banjo playing, but I hope to have given you an organisation, it's 50 years old this year, that is inspirational. An organisation which from the beginning has tended to be ahead of the game, and an organisation that is being very recognised for being good at what it does. Over the years, it has had hundreds of inspirational volunteers, hundreds of inspirational staff, and thousands of inspirational service users, some of whom you've met tonight. Thank you.
Today this could be the greatest day.
Thank you. So now moving on. Obviously, you know, North Kent Mind works with a lot of people on their journey to recovery. And we use a wide range of services, as you know, some of them have been discussed this evening, to equip people to recognise the signs, give them the tools and strategies so they can manage their conditions and develop their own confidence in order they can set individual goals to help them move forward with their lives. We do encourage peer support, as we've said before, to create an environment where friendships are formed, such as Claire mentioned and Colin previously, and this really helps support people. So we've got 4 brave people now coming up on stage who are going to share their personal experience about their journey with North Kent Mind and where they are today. So I'm going to introduce you to Mandy, James. We've also got Ian and Claire. So give a big hand. Thank you.
My name is Ian, and I am the same age. My depression and anxiety illness was diagnosed 5 years ago. But when I look back over my life, I know that I had symptoms from childhood. I have lost family, friends, relationships, and my career by being me. I have missed out on lots of opportunities, social events, and fun by being me. I was introduced to North Kent Mind by my GP 3 years ago, and within a very short space of time I was face to face with a counsellor who patiently and professionally began making me question my inner beliefs and to revisit past events and to reevaluate them. It was difficult. There were long periods of silence, denials, tears, but progress was made. My counsellor suggested I might take advantage of several courses run through North Kent Mind. The first course I attended was a back to work course held at Dartford Job Centre run by Emma and Sue. I was made to feel very welcome and encouraged to participate if I wished to. The course itself was very informative, but the real impact for me was that this was the first time I'd ever sat in a room with other people who were like me. Depression can be a very lonely disease, even when you are surrounded by others. But when you are in a room with other people who suffer like you, there is instant acceptance, understanding and support. The second course was a combined preparing for work, coping with life, again with Emma and Sue, and using writing as therapy, run by Dr. Pauline Cooper, which was inspirational and whilst challenging, made me look within myself to find my true identity and belief systems. It was during this course that Emma spoke to me about the opportunity of volunteering at Made in Kent, an offer I gladly accepted, but more on that later. I used the services of a counsellor for a second time, and through her support I've been able to build bridges with my family and accept them back into my life, for which I'll forever be grateful. I've also completed Vicky's Confidence, Self-Esteem and Assertiveness Wellbeing course, and I'm currently on Coping with Anxiety and Stress course run by Louise. The Coping with Depression and Mindfulness are on my to-do list. I have been given a wealth of tools and it's up to me now to use them. Anytime I feel myself slipping back into the darkness, I just open a folder, revisit my notes and handouts and remind myself I can deal with this. The hardest part of working at Made in Kent was walking through the front door the first time. I was full of self-doubt, questioning myself on why I put myself in situations where I feel very uncomfortable, but as it turned out, this was a very wise decision. Not only is the shop a calm environment to be in, full of the work by very talented local artists, it has proved to be a continual support system, working with those who understood me instantly, support me, trust me, cry and laugh with me. I am now able to return that support to others and have become a supervisor with responsibilities for which I thought I didn't want, but clearly do. Whilst I fully understand the shop is there to generate income and promote Mind to customers, but for me and many others it is so much more. I once thought that life was a party to which I had not received an invitation. Mind has sent me an invitation, and I have accepted.
I was nervous about standing on stage at the Orchard Theatre, but I felt that the public need to see people who suffer with depression and anxiety, realise that we are ordinary people, that we have issues, but we're happy to talk about them, and we are doing something to make things better.
I was first introduced to mine 4 years ago when I was experiencing very severe stress and anxiety. I would say it was the most frightening time of my life, more frightening than when I was diagnosed with cancer twice in the space of 1 year. I hated myself and felt completely lost and worthless. If I was asked the question, what frightens you most, experiencing mental health issues or the cancer coming back, I would definitely say without a doubt I'll be more frightened of experiencing mental health issues. Without the help of organisations like mine, there is no life for people experiencing mental health issues. Mine for me means a safe place to be. They have taught me so much, skills that even by the age of 60 I had never learned. And the skills that I'm talking about are the skills of dealing with people whose treatment to me has been very detrimental to my well-being and my mental health. I now have confidence I have never experienced before in my life. And the best thing about Mind is that they continue to support and help people who have experienced mental health issues to grow. I feel privileged to have been given the chance to understand myself, and most importantly, have learned to like myself. And it's all thanks to Mind.
Hello, my name is Mandy Charles. I came to Mind 4.5 years ago with anxiety and depression. I had begun to isolate myself, going out of the house only when I needed to. I started with talking therapies, which at first was difficult because facing my past was very emotional. But as the weeks went by, I found it easier to talk about my troubles, which had held me back for so many years. Eager to get back to work, I went to Springboard, where they helped me update my CV and look for work online. From there, I joined the job club, gaining knowledge of what employers are looking for in the workplace. During my time there, I decided to join the theatre group, which took me out of my comfort zone in a good way, by helping me to write, direct and take part in a short play. I had more fun than I'd had in years. Still continuing my search for work, I realised my computer skills were limited, so I joined the computer class. I felt part of society again, made friends, and learning never felt so good, and I passed all my exams. I then began going to the drop-in centres, which helped me socialise more. During my time there, I was a support worker soon recognised I was still struggling with day-to-day life and suggested more talking therapy, which I accepted. The second time around catapulted me into feeling much better. I had hope and could see a future for the first time in over a decade. But still needed help with anxiety, I decided to join mindfulness. Here they taught me how to cope with stress in difficult situations, how to relax my mind from the bombardment of worry that lived in my head from the moment I woke until the moment I fell asleep. I was now feeling better and was ready for the recovery group. They helped me in the last stages of my well-being, giving me all the tools I needed to live a well-balanced life, how to be more assertive, how to understand why my body trembles and feels sick when I am anxious, how to motivate myself when I am low, and how to build my self-confidence. These are just but a few of what they teach you. Now feeling ready to take the plunge into work, I became a volunteer for Springboard. Here my confidence began to grow week by week. Helping others back into work was so rewarding. After that, I became a volunteer manager for Made in Kent. This was by far my biggest challenge. I was overwhelmed with excitement. I enjoyed every moment of it. I was part of the world again, and not the outsider. This was where I realised I could hold down a paid job again. And today I work for North Kent Mind as an administrator for psychological therapies. I now have a very full life. The 4.5 years of hard work had paid off. Thank you for listening.
I'll begin now. It is somewhat of an anniversary for myself, as well as 50 years of mine. It is 20 years since my 21st birthday, and as the Queen would say, my annus horribilis, my horrible year. I know I don't look old enough to drink after spending many years previously sofa surfing, not on heroin as many, but many other things. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, plus booze. It's all my body needs, right? Back to the plan, as if I ever had one back then. The wise men don't know how it feels to be as thick as a brick, but then folk don't know how it feels to have schizophrenia. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first footstep. Recovery started for me as my dear old sister has the same diagnosis as me. She started going to the mind dropping. My mind being somewhat dazed and confused, doesn't really recall the time somewhere back in the noughties. I lived in my beautiful neighbourhood. After acquiring my lovely 6th floor flat in a block of flats, always somewhat ironic I felt, as many of my acute emissions were due to attempted suicides. Suicide is painless and brings on many changes. I started going to the drop-ins a few times a week, slowly building up the confidence. At the time, the drop-ins provided meals. It was a very incestuous place, with many folk there remaining on the fringes of society. I saw the drop-in was not for me, although I gained confidence as before this I felt shame and stigma from the diagnosis. Look at all the lonely people. Where do the other come from? Eleanor Rigby has always struck a chord with me, tugging at my heartstrings. At the time I had no direction. And like anything, you get good people and you get bad people. I just happened to be shotgun, blown away. Oh dear, with glasses and talking along. Get a bit excited there, right. But anyway, I had a good nurse, Bernard Peters by the way, wonderful man, that explained what it was like to be a nurse, along with the staff at mine. He showed me a positive way to get out of my rut. If you can't change the situation, change your mind, man. I'll be called in a smoky, fug-filled cellar bar at the sweet age of 16. I started to volunteer at drop-in Dartford. From the heart of man, hope brings us eternal. The folks at mine certainly had a part. During a sponsored walk for mine, recording the fish and chips at the end of it, this was a discussion of Angie, works at mine. It was all a bit ice cold in Alex, though with me not being as so debonair and svelte as John Mills, although there was some Carlsberg involved at the end of it, nice cold pints. Now I had a purpose, a reason to get up, a point. After being a drop-in volunteer running quizzes and healthy eating groups, and playing plenty of Uno as well, I had a vision, a thought of a future for one such as me could never have. I learned with the help of mine to crawl, walk and run again, taking stumbling, faltering steps. 5 years doing a pre-access, access and then a nursing degree at uni, Christchurch. That was mental health nursing. All this was possible with the reference that I got from mine and the support. Now I find myself being a deputy chair at the Board of Trustees for North Kent Mine. As Gandhi states, man, be the change that you wish to be the world. For me, the journey of recovery is this. Not walking behind somebody, pushing them along, you know, go and do it, like, nor is it being in front of them, pulling them along, like, you know what I mean? It's walking side by side, alongside someone, as an equal. And when recovery is complete, that fork in the road, yeah? Right? The two separate on their own life journey. As I sit here penning this for the Parker pen that Bob gave me, he used to work for mine many years ago, he was my mentor there. My daughter, asleep, exhausted from the trip to the beach. My wife's laughter thinking like someone that beside me. My neighbour, ironically, drunk in the seats. I don't want to go to it, you know, by any wine else. No, don't take me to it. The place I now know, well, I now work as a staff nurse mental health for Kent Medway Partnership. I wave my pen in my hand, reassuringly, heavily, to which I used to scratch together my lecture plans for session work that I do for the unit. Never in a million years would I thought I'd ever do any of this. You know what I mean? Never. Never would I think I'd be standing up here in the stage if it weren't from the support from mine. Now, my gaze out to you, Mum and Dad. I ain't done too bad, I am. So long, and thanks for the fish. And to my wife, there is a light that never goes out. And to you all, love is all you need. Thank you.
So now, our Chair of Trustees, Sandy Loyne, will give a closing address. So please welcome Sandy on stage. This in the programme that this is called The Last Word. I think that was probably Justin's idea, deciding to give it to me as I'll have it anyway. 2017 was not such a bad place to be. I woke up this morning, turned on Radio Kent, and there were a couple of young women on the radio talking about anorexia and their experience of anorexia. I went into town, I live in Gravesend, and heard a conversation about some work that's being done in schools to give pupils mental health support. That was just a casual conversation I overheard. There was somebody selling raffle tickets to support combat stress. And I went to hear an environmentalist talking about plants in art. And in there, he spent a fair amount of time talking about plants and the environment and the connection with mental well-being. These were all just casual references. In one day, nobody knew I had it, was coming here tonight and had any connection with this. But it struck me that 50 years ago you would not have heard any of that being said. It would have been any reference to mental health in whispers. But Justin and Co have asked me to come along this evening and say a few words of thanks. And of course, when you get in a theatre, you come over all theatrical. So like Coco in the Mikado, I have a little list. Right, so I would like to start by thanking the worshipful Mayor of Dartford, Councillor Rosanna Clarence. That was such a moving opening, and I was saying to Rosanna, I think she won many hearts in the auditorium tonight. We really have valued the support of the mayors that we've had
over the past 50 years. Dartford, Gravesham, Swanley and now Medway as well. And we're particularly pleased to have Gloria O'Para here with us this evening, Deputy Mayor of Medway. I'd like to thank Porchlight. They funded the Limelight Project through their Live It Well Innovation Fund. Funders have always been important, as Justin may have mentioned, and with ever-increasing demands on budgets, we do appreciate the confidence that the various funding bodies have had in us over the years. I'd like to thank the Orchard Theatre. They've been very generous with their time and support from marketing staff through to technicians and hospitality. In particular, Sarah and Terry coached and facilitated the Limelight players and just helped with marketing and behind the scenes. Without them, the evening really wouldn't have been possible. Again, thinking back over 50 years, if I thank all the community organisations who worked with us in partnership, I would have a much longer list than this. I want to thank North Kent's Mines Wellbeing staff for organising the event and providing the helpers tonight, especially Darren, one of our bank workers, for co-facilitating our drama group and also turning his hand to other areas of expertise, including stage management, technical liaison, and generally being our man in the theatre, keeping everybody's spirits up when nerves kicked in. And to thank Emma, our Employment Services Manager, for her entertaining pairing tonight, and particularly for the quick thinking, being quick on her feet with the impromptu interview. And I hope you noticed the feet are very handsomely clad in those lovely high heels. Our service-facing staff and volunteers are the public face of North Kent Mind, and we have always been beyond lucky to have such energetic and committed people. Less public are the backroom workers, and it's an opportunity for me now to thank them all for their efforts and achievements over the years, particularly, obviously, Justin, our CEO, and his team for managing a mental health charity on uncertain times. It's not easy, but Justin and his team make it look like it is. Have I left anyone out? Oh yes, our performers. The Limelight Project players, Claire, Karen, Colin, Louise, Aileen, John, Anne, Angela, and Ruby. Several words have gone through my mind while I was watching their performances, just amazing is the overwhelming one, but strong, courageous, how brave, and how generous to share that insight with us. So thank you very much. And also to Ian, Gary, James, Mandy, and Angela, who shared their personal stories with us so movingly. But before I thank you, our audience and supporters, I need to pay special tribute to the two women who gave so much of their heart and souls to this organisation in the early days. Dorothy Fox, who set us on our way, and who introduced me to Mercado, Copa's List, Olive Laker, who joined her a few years later. I wish they were here to help us celebrate, but there's no doubt that their spirit lives on. So thank you all for being here tonight. Justin has told us how the spark that set Dorothy Fox afire was a call from National Mind to galvanise support by the local community. That support and understanding is more important than ever. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving it.
So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to welcome everyone back on stage for a finale. So please give a warm hand to our wonderful performers tonight. Come on.
Mind have given me a toolkit to enable me to deal with my particular illnesses and issues, and I am very grateful to them for that.
And Mind have been there for me. They've been there 100%. The team of staff are brilliant.
I would definitely say mental health issues would frighten me more. There is no life for people with mental health issues without organisations like Mind. Mind to me means a safe place to be.
Mind have been marvellous for me. I was first referred here 4 years ago when I separated from my husband. Wasn't a very good marriage, and I was in a very bad place. And since then, I've had unfortunately had cancer in the last 3 years.
If you know someone who is suffering, just point them in the direction of Mind. Mind will take them, show them that they can do things, show them that they can get back into the community and work and carry on life in the community.
Finally, could I invite you all to join us in a chorus of Happy Birthday to North Kent Mind. I'm not going to sing so loud because anyone who knows me well knows I'm tone deaf, so please join in.